Good morning and welcome. I'm Anna Wilds, the franchise economist. Today, our special guest is founder and chairman Tim Ivanovich with Oasis Senior Advisors. Tim, so glad to have you. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Anna. It's great to be here and always a pleasure to hang out with you, that's for sure.
Oh, well, thank you. You're very kind. So, Tim, this isn't your first, but your second stint as a franchisor. So tell us how Oasis Senior Advisors came about.
Sure. I guess you'd call me a serial franchisor. Love the model, obviously. So my first foray, this is my 30th year in franchising. I did about 20 years in residential house cleaning company called the Cleaning Authority. And then was in residential cleaning for 25 years, 20 of it franchising, and now 10 with Oasis. And I'm kind of surprised that people don't see the correlation between house cleaning and toilets and seniors, but that's another story for another time, perhaps.
Oh, you're so funny.
But it's really a situation that just kind of fell in our lap. My partner at the Cleaning Authority, Steve Robinson, at the time, had this opportunity presented to us to help them start their franchising operation. It had a different name at the time, but we loved the concept because it was not only to help people get into small business ownership with Oasis, but the amount of people that we get to help, not just our franchisees, but the seniors and their families through this process. So it had a really great philanthropic feel to it. And so we ended up buying these folks out and buying the concept, and it took a couple years to work out the kinks and make sure we had the training program going correctly and everything. And we're legal to start franchising April of 2014. So this April just passed our 10-year anniversary in
congratulations.
Yep. So that's how I got here today. 10 years, and I've been thrilled to sit in this chair for so long.
Well, Tim, that is another interesting and yet amazing story. I think you're the only serial franchisor I've had on the podcast. So glad to add your story to the catalog. Okay, so explain to the audience, Tim, what Oasis Senior Advisors does and what makes them so special.
Yeah, now understand too, Anna, I'm extremely biased of my company. So, you have to take everything I say with a little bit of grain of salt. But, we are a placement service, right? Helping seniors and their families find the right alternative living opportunity when living at home is no longer safe and secure for the senior, whether it be assisted living, memory care, sometimes independent living or what have you. But really what we do is a higher end real estate agent for seniors, helping them find that perfect opportunity. And what's really neat, I think, is that our service is free. It doesn't cost the family or senior a dime to use our service and help them do that. So our franchisees really understand and know the senior market and what housing opportunities are available for seniors. And then we just guide them through the family, a very personalized service, kind of holding their hand through the whole process, making sure we find that perfect next living environment for their mom or dad.
So Tim, explain to the audience, since the service is free to people who use it, how the franchisees do get paid.
Yeah, great question. So we have agreements in place with the communities, right? The assisted living memory care communities that says, if we place a senior in your community, you're going to pay us a referral fee.
Okay.
Of X amount of dollars for that referral. And so that's how our franchisees do make their money and do very, very well at it, obviously.
Well, I tell you what, I would love for you to explain what the role of the owner is with an Oasis Senior Advisors franchise, Tim.
Sure, happy to.
How are they spending their time? What are they doing? That sort of thing.
Right. So this, as I know you're well aware, because you've presented our model so well in the past, but it's truly a relationship-driven model, right? We build relationships, meaning our advisors, franchisees build relationships with really not just the communities in their area, but also the assisted living and memory care geriatric professionals in hospitals, skilled nursing, with doctors, discharge planners, social workers, case managers, all of those that really are that last line of defense to realize that this senior should not be living by themselves, right? So they help us identify those families. We meet with the family face to face. We tour with the families. Again, that very personalized approach and service. And I think really one of the things that sets us apart is that personalized approach. Really getting ingrained with the senior, understanding what their needs are, knowing them very, very well to move forward. So
I know it can be just a very stressful time for a family, and sometimes it can be an urgent need, right? I know with my dad, he had to go from the hospital to something other than home, and my mom had 24 hours to figure it out. It wasn't I mean, this was a few years ago, but so hopefully there's a little more runway to figure something out.
Oftentimes there is, but sometimes we have a lot of those similar situations where it's, you've got 24 to 48 hours to figure out they're getting discharged from the hospital, where they're going to go.
Right.
So that's, again, one of the beauties of Oasis of we got them covered, right? We're gonna have them have a good experience through the process of finding the right assisted living memory care.
Well, it sounds like this is not only is it a feel-good business, but it's a business where someone who's really wanting to be involved in their community, making a positive difference in their community, really, having a positive impact on people's lives. I can see where this would be so very attractive from that standpoint.
Great point, Anna, and it really is, because it's a true feel-good franchise in the sense that not only you're building your own small business, which is very empowering, and you feel great about building something for you and your family, but as I mentioned earlier, the people that we help, the families, the seniors that are in such great need of direction and some guidance through this process. So yeah, and our franchisees are just the most amazing people, compassion, huge hearts, and they just want to help. They want to give back and make a difference in people's lives, in their local community.
Well, Tim, I hear all kind of preconceived notions as a franchise advisor and helping people find the franchise that's right for them. Once when I presented Oasis, someone, I'm laughing because it's funny because you and I know the answer to this, said, "Can you make any money doing that?" You have a robust item 19 in your franchise disclosure document, or FDD, so we can't talk about it here on the podcast. But Tim,
no, as much as I'd like to,
as much as you would really,
for sure,
really
but
like to.
We're really looking for franchisees and owners to scale their business, right? To build it for the first 6 months or a year by themselves, learning, understanding, and then start bringing in other advisors and employees to work with them, and kind of dividing and conquering to do that. And that's really how you start to scale that business into single, sometimes multiple territories. We have 3 types of franchisees. We have our empire builders that are 2+ territories and 6+ employees. We have our team concepts, which are 1 or 2 territories, less than 5 or 6 employees. And then we have our solopreneurs, right? That just want a single territory and maybe 1 or 2 people to work with and just build it that way. But, we love all kinds. So.
Well, I love that there's that much flexibility with your business model. So it really can appeal to, a huge variety of people who are looking to have the time and money freedom that owning a business can provide. Well, that's wonderful.
Sure.
Tim, what's another preconceived notion that you would say you have to deal with on a pretty regular basis?
Well, certainly the can you make money in that and scale the business? That's, if you see our item 19, you'll say, okay, yes, you can. Yeah. But I think some of the other preconceived notions are just the idea that the market is full, right? Oh, the senior space, everybody's getting into the senior space, and getting into assisted living or in-home care and all the other adjuncts that do that. But I think the biggest preconceived notion is that the breadth of this industry in the senior space. Everybody's seen the statistics of how many people are turning 65 and how many are turning 80, and the baby boomers just hit 70 a couple of years ago. So we've got the biggest
70.
Yeah, just a couple of years. So the baby boomers, which is the biggest influx in our nation's history of population, are now getting into that assisted living and memory care timeframe. So we've got a huge expanse coming, and so the notion that it's drying up, whatever. There's so much business out there for everybody within our market, in our industry. It's just mountainous to say the least. So don't be preconceived that the industry is
saturated or the demand isn't there. Let me share a couple of statistics with the audience and with you, Tim. So the decade from 2010 to 2020 saw a massive surge in the number of people aged 65 and older in America. You had to go back to 1880 to find a comparable percentage increase in that age demographic. And so, audience, I've been in franchising for 20 years. I remember years ago talking about the demand for senior services, and I used to quote the statistics. There are 34 million people in America over 65. Well, now, according to the 2020 census by the U.S. government, that number is 55 million. Okay, that means
massive.
That means almost 1 in 6 Americans is in that age demographic. I want everyone listening to see dollar signs when they hear that, okay? That is astounding. There is no way anyone can say that. I mean, the demand has gone up by like 14.5 million people in a decade. I mean, there's just so much demand.
It is.
Service.
And it's evident too, Anna, by if in any community where you live, of all the assisted living communities that are going up left and right. Keep building to keep up with the demand. So bodes well for our industry, no question. Well,
Tim, what really differentiates Oasis within the senior placement services arena?
Yeah, I think there's a few things for sure. I mean, certainly, and I touched on this earlier, our franchisees and our selection process of just bringing in the most wonderful people. And that certainly is a differentiator. We have an amazing marketing team. We have amazing proprietary software that helps our franchisees run every facet of their business. But I think one of the biggest and newest differentiators is some know that we were acquired a little over a year ago by a company called Silver Assist. And what's really unique about Silver Assist is they're putting a conglomerate of companies together, all in the senior space, so that once we have a senior and their family, we're trying to give them the services that they may need in every aspect through this process. So we've got not just Oasis as a placement service, but we've got aid and attendance, helping military families find more funds for assisted living. We have Elder Life Financial, helping with loans and bridge loans to get seniors into assisted living more expediently. And then also one of the biggest ones too is we have Family Assets, which is a lead generation company that funnels and filters leads to all of the Silver Assist companies, which is a great benefit to our franchisees for sure. So absolutely, that is one of the newest and most profound differences for Oasis for sure.
Yes, it's incredibly rare, as I've said on the podcast before, for a franchisor to generate leads for their franchisees. So that's massive. That's wonderful.
And I just want to say thank you again for not just having me on, but being the quality consultant that you are. For those that don't know you very well, there are a handful of franchise consultants out there that truly care about their clients, and Anna is one of them, and that's why we love working with her. So again, Anna, thank you for being on and being who you are.
Well, thank you so much, Tim, and thank you for being here, audience. This is Tim Ivanovich, founder and chairman of Oasis Senior Advisors. Thank you so much, Tim.
Pleasure. And thanks, everybody.
And audience, thank you for being here. I'm sure you gained a lot of insights into the senior demographic from being here. And guess what? Come back next week. I've got another senior-related franchise that's going to be on the show. I'm telling you, this is big. If you ever watch Andy Griffith, Barney always said, Andy, this is big. This is really, really big, okay? So come back next Wednesday at 11:30. See you then. I'm Anna Wilds, the franchise economist. Bye-bye.